Hi, my name is Sam Taxar, and I'm the Solid Waste Intern for the Lakes Region Planning Commission for the summer of 2024.
And I'm Matt Rose. I'm the Solid Waste Planner for Lakes Region Planning Commission.
And today we're here to talk about the top questions that we've gotten from residents over this summer in our region. All right, Matt, for our first question today, this has to do with the disposal of CFL bulbs and rechargeable batteries. So if I have either of those, where do I go to dispose of them?
So CFL tubes and bulbs can definitely be a tricky item to get rid of. Same with rechargeable batteries. For any material, including these two that you just brought up, I would recommend that a resident goes and talks to their municipality, or they talk to their transfer station operator to ask them if they have a disposal option available. Some of our communities in the Lakes region do, and you might be able to dispose of it right there. If your transfer station does not have a disposal option for rechargeable batteries or CFL tubes and bulbs, the next best option I would say would be go to Lowe's or Home Depot or Staples, because they have recycling programs actually in their stores, and they have a drop-off location where you can bring CFL bulbs, not tubes, CFL bulbs, and you can bring rechargeable batteries there for free.
Awesome. That's great. So for our next question, if I have any old or used gas or oil, where do I go and what can I do with it?
A very common question. So used oil, if you're the kind of person that does your own oil change and you get used oil directly from your vehicle, there's no contamination, no mixed substances in with it. One thing you can do is you can check with an automotive shop. They might have a waste oil burner and they might want it for fuel. So that's an easy way to freely dispose of that. If you go to your local transfer station or municipality or public works garage, you might find out they have a waste oil burner, and then you can dispose of it there as well. If there is no option locally available for you for waste oil, and this also goes with gasoline, you can bring it to the household hazardous waste collection that's local to you, where it can be properly disposed of. Both oil and gasoline should not be poured on the ground or poured down the drain or into a local water body or anything like that, because it does pose a groundwater contamination.
Great, awesome, thank you. For our next question, this is a question that we've heard many times this summer. What are the differences between latex and acrylic paint and oil-based paint, and how do you dispose of them properly?
Okay. Oil-based paint is something that's been manufactured for years, and it's starting to be phased out with a lot of different states. Some of them even have oil-based paint bans, and the reason why is because the oil in the oil-based paint is a groundwater contaminant. It is known to contaminate groundwater and drinking water, so that's why it can't go to your local transfer station. With that said, it can go to the household hazardous waste collection where it will be disposed of properly. Now, latex and acrylic paint, those ones are actually manufactured in response to that. They do not pose a groundwater contamination problem. So one thing that you can do is you can actually dispose of it at your local transfer station, and most transfer stations take that. The tip with that, though, is that you have to dry the paint out, and it's not just setting it out in the sun to let it dry. What you want to do is you want to add kitty litter or sawdust or paint hardener that you can get at a local hardware store like Aubuchon's, and you add it to your paint can that's halfway empty. You stir it up very good and thorough, and you let it bake out in the sun, and then it will be thoroughly hardened all the way through. That can go to your transfer station for disposal, and talk to your transfer station operator. They'll direct you on how to dispose of it properly. Another tip I will add into that is that some people have a hard time identifying the difference between the two paint cans, whether it's latex or if it's oil-based. So what I would recommend is look at the paint can. If it looks ancient, if it looks old, it's probably an oil-based paint. If it's just a metal paint can, it's probably oil-based paint. Latex paint actually comes with a plastic liner built into the paint can, so that's an easy way to identify latex paint versus oil-based paint.
Great, that's awesome information. Kind of piggybacking off of what you were saying in this last question, this one's has to do with our HHW collections.
Okay.
If I'm a resident in a community that is not involved with our collections, where do I go and what do I do with my hazardous waste?
Good question. So if you're a community that doesn't participate in Lakes Region Planning Commission's household hazardous waste collection, there is another option for you. You can go to what's called the Lakes Region Household Hazardous Waste Product Facility, located in Wolfboro, New Hampshire. The Lakes Region Product Facility will take anybody's hazardous waste in the state of New Hampshire. They do not ask what residency you have, but there is a cost associated with that. Our collection event for our participating communities has no cost for residents that show up with their materials. However, the product facility does. And they're open every third Saturday of the month, starting from May until October.
Great. That's awesome. Now for a question that we've also heard a couple times around the region. What are the differences between single stream and source separation recycling?
I get that question quite a bit. So single stream recycling is when a community contracts a waste hauler to do the recycling and take that material from the transfer station. The community is asking residents at that point to not separate out your recyclables, so the resident can have all the recyclable material, cardboard, paper, plastic, metal, all in one container, show up to the transfer station, dump it in one single container, which is a dumpster, and then a waste hauler will come and pick that up from the transfer station and bring it to a recycling facility where it's then baled and recycled at market. The community is paying for that to happen, so there is a cost associated with that operation. On the other hand, another popular method that I see in the Lakes region is source separation, which means that the resident has the responsibility of separating out their materials. They're doing that because at the transfer station, the operators are actually baling the materials and bringing it to market for revenue. And what they're doing is they're asking you to put it in the respective bin. So if you come with cardboard, it goes in the cardboard bin. If you have plastic number 1, it goes in the plastic number 1 bin. If you have newspaper, it goes in the newspaper bin. And then what happens is the operator goes to that respective bin where it has one type of material in it. They bring it to their baler and they bale it, and then they have it for bringing it to the recycling market.
Great. Awesome. Great information. Now, kind of, again, piggybacking off of what you were just saying, this one's a little bit behind the scenes. Why is it important for a transfer station to generate revenue?
Okay. This is a question that comes up quite a bit when I do transfer station visits and I talk to residents. Why is it important for the transfer station to charge money or generate revenue for operations? And the reason why is because how is the transfer station paid for? The answer is it comes out of a municipal budget, which is residents' tax dollars. So a residents' tax dollars are going towards paying for the operations at the transfer station. That pays for employees being there. It pays for any electricity being used at the transfer station for like a compactor or a scale or just plainly keeping the lights on. It pays for maintaining machinery like baling equipment or the scale or the compactor or the building in general. It also pays for any kind of disposal costs that the transfer station and or the town might encounter. Like for instance, your municipal solid waste, your garbage, that has a tipping fee and a hauling fee, which the town pays for. Your construction and demolition, same thing. It has a tipping fee and a hauling fee. So when the town generates revenue, does that mean that they're making money and making a profit? No. What it means is they're bringing that revenue source back into their operations to maybe pay for another operator, or maybe it helps offset some of the costs for the operations so that your municipal budget doesn't take so big of a hit each year. Or maybe what it's doing is it's paying for new operations that help with more recycling, reducing waste going into our waste stream because we're running out of space in our landfills. And again, maybe more operators at the facility, because the Lakes region in particular gets the quadruple the population during the summertime, which puts a lot of stress on our facilities.
Well, great, thank you. So another question that we've gotten a lot throughout our summer is, what are some easy ways to reduce my waste at home?
So for a resident to reduce their waste, why is that important? It's because we want to reduce our waste stream going to the landfills. Landfills take up a lot of room, and land is something that we're running out of, and there's not a ton of space left in our transfer stations. So anything we can do to reduce our waste stream in general is going to be a good thing. Residents, let's talk about what you're buying. If you buy something from a manufacturer that has a type of plastic material for packaging that can't be disposed of very easily, and ultimately it's ending up in the trash, you are then contributing to adding to our waste stream. If you find out that it's going into the trash, try to pick a different company that maybe has more eco-friendly packaging. Paper products can be recycled, and that's more eco-friendly. Maybe what you want to do is you want to reuse some things. If you got a bicycle that is broken, if you can fix it and give it to somebody that will actually use it, that's better than throwing it away. And third, and I think this is a very important concept, is food waste composting at home. If you don't know what that is, composting is the operation of breaking down organic materials to make basically what's called black gold, which is a very fertile mulch topsoil that can be used for growing fruits and vegetables and flowers in your gardens. It's organic. There's no pesticides or anything in it. It's completely organic and safe. And it definitely helps the waste stream, because EPA has told us that nationally, for the United States, 40% of all trash entering transfer stations and landfills in the United States is food waste.
Wow.
Yeah, and it takes up a lot of space in our dumpsters, which add to hauling and tipping costs. It's a lot of water weight for that reason too, which adds to the cost. And it's just simply something we can reduce and turn into fertilizer and reuse versus just throw it away.
Well, great. That's really interesting. Mm-hmm. Now, for something a little bit out of the blue here, does the Lakes region have any foam recycling happening in our region?
Actually, we do. So recently, this is new. Recently, last year, the town of Guilford, they won a national federal grant from Northern Borders Regional Commission, and that money was used to purchase foam recycling equipment, which is actually pretty cutting edge, because it's the first foam recycling program in New Hampshire. The foam recycling program is for what most people call styrofoam, polystyrene number 6. The number 6 is right on the styrofoam material. If it snaps, that's the material that they're looking for recycling. If it bends and it doesn't break, that's the material that cannot go into that machine. And what Guilford has done is they started a regional foam recycling program in the Lakes region, where Lakes region communities can bring their styrofoam, collect it at their transfer station, and bring it to them for free.
Oh, wow.
And it's properly disposed of, because they would do what's called densifying it, which is taking the air out of the foam, and it can be brought to a recycling market and reused instead of being thrown away.
Wow, that's great. All right, and for our last question, Matt, what are the details for attending the household hazardous waste collections?
So, the Lakes Region Planning Commission hosts an annual household hazardous waste collection every single year. This year, 2024, we've had a couple new changes to the program, which is important to know because we have a lot of repeat customers for this. And basically, before this year, we would only do a collection on the last Saturday of July, the first Saturday of August. We've actually, because of our survey results from residents, we took your opinions into consideration and basically we've extended our collection further into the year, both starting earlier and ending later, so that residents that traditionally couldn't attend our collection have another time that they can go to. So now we have collections starting in the month of June, and it goes all the way until September. We've also added in a special weekday collection. This year it's going to be in Tuftonboro, and basically that's just for somebody that can't attend on a weekend, because most of our collections are on a Saturday from 8:30 to noon time. But this weekday collection is going to be on a Thursday, and it's going to be from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. So somebody getting out of work could potentially attend too. If you come to our collection and you're part of one of our participating communities, we ask that you limit your quantity to 10 gallons or 50 pounds of household hazardous waste, and absolutely come to our collection with your hazardous waste, because that's what it's there for.
Well, great, awesome. All right, well, to conclude our solid waste talk, we'd like to thank you for watching this video and learning a little bit about solid waste management in the Lakes region. Well, is there anything else you want to add, Matt?
I guess remaining comments for for residents would be, check out Lakes Region Planning Commission website. We have a solid waste page. We have a household hazardous waste page. We update it all the time. And we try to give you relevant information to help you with disposal questions, tell you when our collections are happening, and we do a lot of outreach through that. Another thing is to check out our social media. We have Facebook, we have Instagram. Like and share our page. We update newsfeed blasts all the time about our household hazardous waste collection and when it's happening, and answering questions on that forum. And the last thing I would say is this year New Hampshire DES actually came out with a Manage My Waste webpage, and it's got a lot of good information on certain materials that you might have a hard time getting rid of, like how do I get rid of it and stuff like that.